Hey everybody, I'm Becky Adams and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have a fun video to share with you that is all about boys. I have a little guy that is almost 7 and today we're going to create a layout about him using a lot of boy products. So we're going to start out with the photos, and these are the 2 photos I'll be using today. They're my little guy playing in the mud at a baseball game. So these are the photos we're going to be using today. And these are the papers that I've chosen. And you'll see that I've picked out a lot of boy colors. So lots of blues and greens and oranges. And then some neutrals as well. So to get started, we're going to obviously use this paper for the background. This nice plaid. It's got some text and some paint splatters on the back. But we're going to use this plaid side, and we're going to start building some layers with more pieces of pattern paper. So the first one we're going to start with is this plain black piece of paper. It's got this nice triangle pattern on the back. And we're just going to adhere that right in the middle of our layout. And I'm going to use this plaid as the background. And I don't want it exactly centered in the middle of the layout. I want it to be a little offset so there's more room at the top than there is the bottom. And you'll see why in just a moment. Okay, so now that we've got that black strip there, next we're going to place this text, this kind of a cream color with some text on it, and we're going to adhere that just right here in the middle. This black is just kind of going to turn into a border. You could also, if you wanted to, maybe save your pattern paper, instead of doing the layers, this entire strip of black, you could just cut this very small, it's about probably 1/4 of an inch. You could just cut that and put that on the top and bottom as well. But you can see the black makes this stand out, make the text stand out a little bit more. So I've pre-cut these black pattern papers, and they are going to be the mat of my photos. This photo is a 5x7, or not, excuse me, a 4x6, just standard. And this I want to be, this photo is going to be my focal point, the one that I want your eye drawn to. So there's that photo, and then this one was a 4x6, but I trimmed it down just a little bit so that this photo would stand out just slightly more. So we're going to adhere just this photo that's a little bit smaller to the same background. And you'll notice that just to make this a little bit unique, I did switch up which side of this pattern paper I used, just to create a little bit of interest. Okay, so I'm not going to adhere my photos to the background yet. I'm just going to leave them sitting there kind of where I want them while we place a few other elements. I've chosen a whole bunch of chipboard frames. And to these frames, these ones I've gotten ready ahead of time just to speed up the process while I'm creating, or while I'm filming this video. But I've just taken pieces of pattern paper that coordinate with the other patterns that I've chosen, and I've just backed them with, or just put them inside these chipboard frames. And I just did it with a little bit of adhesive, just like that. You can also place the frame onto the piece of pattern paper and then fussy cut around it. That's really just a personal choice. Whichever you're more comfortable with works just fine. Okay, so I want my photos about here, and what I'm going to do over here is create a cluster. create a cluster of these frames. They're going to overlap my photos slightly, but I want a row of frames right up here. And this is why I've left a little more space at the top, because I knew that I wanted the frames to go above there and fill a little bit of that space. And then I've got a couple more that I want to go about right here. Let's see, I'm going to tuck this photo back behind that. And these will go about right here. And then my title, just fan, is going to go right there. So I'm going to start just making sure that I have the right placement with these. And some of them I'm going to just adhere with regular adhesive, and some of them I will adhere with pop dots. Okay, so I'm going to start right over here in this corner with this frame that has the star in it. And I'm just going to adhere this one with regular adhesive. And I want to come in just from the edge of the layout, just a little bit, about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to adhere this one right here next with just regular adhesive. I'm going to adhere that one. Just going to kind of lay these frames out so they're staggered, slightly overlapping. I think I want that one right there. Okay, and then these other 2 frames I'm going to adhere with some pop dots. And I'm going to carefully place my pop dots so that they're just right here. I don't want them to be placed over that other chipboard frame. So just over here in this corner. And then just to make sure everything is going to stick, and I know that this is going to be overlapped with the frame, I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive right there. Okay, so that's where I want that frame to go. And then this one, I'm just going to be careful. I don't want to overlap the word right there. So I'm just going to put a couple of pop dots right under there. I'm just staggering the height so that they're not all lined up in a straight row. And then I wanted to add just a couple of embellishments to this frame cluster up here. I wanted to add this awesome chipboard banner and then also the baseball. Because the journaling in this layout talks about my little guy being a baseball fan, watching his siblings all summer long. He's at baseball games. So now I've got this cluster of frames up here at the top, and now I want to come down here and focus on these frames. But before I do that, now I think that I've got placement. I want to just make sure one more thing. Make sure my journaling's going to fit. Okay, so I think I'm ready to adhere my photos. I'm just going to start with this one. And I want this one to kind of be at an angle. I don't want that one exactly straight. And then this one, I'm just going to tuck under that frame again. But this one I do want to be fairly straight. It's not going to be perfect. So I'm just watching down here. That's how I gauge how straight it is. I usually don't get a ruler out to measure it, but you can if you'd like. Okay, so now that those are adhered, I'm going to adhere the frame. And I have a couple of little chipboard stars that I want to add to this one. I think I'm going to add them right here. And this one I'm just going to peel the backing off and just adhere that right there. This one I'm going to use a pop dot once again, and just right here in the middle, and then I'm going to just adhere that, kind of overlapping the frame. Okay. So now that I've got some chipboard frames up here and it's kind of going in a diagonal line across the page like that, I'm going to work on my title. And I've picked out these acetate letters from an older collection, and I'm just going to peel. They've got a plastic, kind of a plastic coating on them, I'm just going to carefully peel that off. Now that we've got that finished up, we're going to adhere those. And to adhere them, I'm just going to carefully place the adhesive right under the letter. And it's not going to be perfect, but by placing it under the letter, it'll show up less than if you placed it on the clear part. I'll just use my fingernail to kind of push that adhesive back in under the colored portion. Okay, and I think I want to actually scoot this a little bit closer so it kind of overlaps my photo instead of going further off this side of the page. So I'll just carefully scoot that over. Okay, so just like that. And then next I'm going to place my journaling. I've pre-written my journaling just with a black pen onto a scrap journaling card. And I'm just going to place that. I want it to go under my title a little bit. Okay, so we'll just put some adhesive there. Tuck that under my photo. And I'm going to do one more thing to this, just real quick. I want to kind of trim down that space that I don't like quite as much white space. I like that better without quite as much white space. I still want it tucked underneath. Okay, so we've got my title and journaling and a little bit of embellishment. I wanted to add just a little bit more of a texture, kind of a different element. And so I have these wood pieces, and I'm going to put one of them down here. They come with the adhesive already on them. I'm just going to put one right down there. And then the other one I'm going to connect looks like I'll have to add just a little bit of adhesive to this one. Just going to put a little bit of liquid adhesive right here. It just didn't come off the backing as well, but that's okay. We can just add a little bit of adhesive. So I'm going to pull up the edge of this one just a little bit. I'm going to place that right above the black line. Okay. And with that, I think we'll call this layout complete. So thanks for joining me today. Please make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And if you like this video, make sure and give me the thumbs up so that both YouTube and myself know what you like, and so we can keep more of that coming. Thanks for joining me today.